Today's guest is Kelly CICHOSKI, and she has developed Transform Hypnosis. We're going to find out a lot more about that. It is a unique blend of modalities that guides clients into deep trance states where clients receive healing and guidance from loved ones, spirit guides, ETs, and other high dimensional beings. She will be introducing the Transform and Rise experience, an empowering fusion of online group learning and transform hypnosis, helping people release old patterns, illuminate their truth, shift limiting beliefs, and elevate into higher vibrations aligned with their soul's purpose. And it's guests like you, Kelly, that this is going to be an amazing, amazing expo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and it is going to be an amazing expo. I can't wait.
So we can't wait to have you. So tell us about like young you and how young you got you to where you became like a sort of a learned person of what you do.
It's been a long journey. I grew up in rural Ohio, and I struggled with challenges with my sister. She bullied me very hard through my life. My parents chose to ignore it, and it made me very independent. So I actually wrote a book about it, and it's my life story kind of and my spiritual awakening combined up to 2005. And it will be at the expo. But I basically learned to be independent at a young age. And I learned that if something was going to get done, I had to do it myself because I couldn't rely on other people. So because I had that experience, I was able to become very resourceful. I learned a lot about problem solving. I can change tires, fix cars, fix my house. I'm very resourceful when it comes to just life experience. So I use that to help others realize the freeing feeling of being independent offers. So I learned hypnosis. It probably came into my life about 15 years ago or a little before that. And I had such a profound experience with it that I continued to work with it on and off.
Tell us about that experience.
I was able to connect with my family's souls, and not all of them were dead. So, so the hypnotist called my family's souls in, and I felt this very heavy, almost a wet blanket feeling of energy just cover me. And it was the first time I'd ever felt anything like that. So it was really profound. And as she guided me through the experience, we were able to allow our souls, not our human beings, but our souls to communicate and kind of iron out the wrinkles and resolve the little differences we had going on that were holding us back from having a better relationship with each other. And when the experience was over, I felt the blanket lifted. It was amazing. And that was what got me hooked.
Tell us a little bit more detail about what was it about the work that you were doing that said, wow, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
The puzzle piece clicked into place probably about 3 years ago. I had been doing the hypnosis that I had experienced, which was called transformational hypnosis. It's more of an intuitively guided, kind of a lighter trance hypnosis, more what we call the traditional hypnosis. And it was fine. And I did it for fun because I was a state trooper and I was working. I had a career and I was doing this kind of on the side. And then I realized spiritually my career was coming to an end. It wasn't time for me to remain there. And the universe was giving me all kinds of signs and symbols that it was coming to an end. So I just went with it. I learned the technique that I was practicing, that transformational hypnosis. And then I was introduced to a woman by just a series of synchronicities, because I don't believe in coincidences. And she did a session on me called QHHT, which is Dolores Cannon's quantum healing hypnosis technique. She was brand new at it. She had to do 25 sessions for free as an intern. And so she asked me if I wanted a free session, and I said, sure. And it changed my life. Even though she wasn't that great at it, she did enough of a great job for me to feel that puzzle piece click into place and say, this is what I need to do to help people. This is my calling. So that's when I started learning QHHT, and here we are today.
So I did my first large scale health and wellness expo in 1994.
Wow.
And I was on the radio in Boca Raton, and I brought the very first large scale health and wellness expo to Broward County, to the Broward County Convention Center. There's a reason why I'm telling you this.
Okay.
And they never did one up in Fort Lauderdale before. That's how long ago this was. Everything was done in Dade County.
Yeah.
And I was able to secure two major speakers for that event, even though it was a first time event. The one person who came up with, who I'm still friends with to this day, is Danny and Brinkley, who
Hmm.
wrote the book Saved by the Light. And the second person who graced me with her uh, time and her appearance was a lady named Dolores Cannon.
Wow, I never knew that. That's amazing. You were very blessed to have met her. I unfortunately did not get to meet her, but I've met her spiritually, just not in person.
Yeah, and she gave me a bunch of her books, and so that was very, very exciting. So let's get back to what we're doing here. So when people come to your booth, some people give away things, some people do 5 minute sessions, some people sell whatever it is. People can do whatever they want. It's totally up to them. What will you be doing at your location when people come past you?
What I'm going to offer are copies of my book, and I will sign the books, my life story, which is a fun beach read. And I will also offer a giveaway for either a QHHT session, which must be done in person, or if the person isn't able to do it in person, they can put in for a transform hypnosis session, which is similar but has a few differences enough where I can do them online via Zoom. So that's a $555 value they can put in to win one of these sessions. They're 4 to 6 hours long and they are amazingly healing. In addition, I'm going to just talk to people and obviously just do what comes up. I'm an intuitive, I'm a channeler. If I talk to someone and they need a message, I will ask them if it's okay, of course, and then I will, share my time with them. I feel it's best to connect with everybody at one-on-one. That way we can feel each other's energy, get to know each other. And if they want to work with me, that's wonderful. And maybe I'm just going to give them a little message that'll help them through the day, and that's okay too.
And I hope there'll be hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe even 1,000 or more, that will come by
That would be
everybody's
amazing.
space. I'm excited about that. I can't wait. Uh, and also there will be an author's table. So after you get to speak, you will go to the author's table, and you'll tell people, I'll be glad to sell my book and sign it for you if you'll come to the author's table. So that'll be something exciting for you to do.
Wonderful.
And speaking of speaking, have you decided what you're going to be speaking at the expo?
I did. I used another platform that I spoke on, a little summit that I did, and I'm going to do the Dolores Cannon group past life hypnosis or past life regression exercise. I'm not sure how much time we're going to have speaking, but I will modify the program to make it work. But basically, the audience will go through some visualization techniques to help them kind of get into it so that they're able to see. And then I will lead them through a past life regression of one life, allowing them to see the life where they lived, their 3 important days, which is the technique we use in QHHT. And then I will take them to the death of that life. And it's always been a great success with groups. People get all kinds of things. So that's what I'm going to plan to do.
So make sure that when you communicate with us for our uh, program, that you tell people that you're going to be doing some real time, real stuff, real work.
Yes, it works with beautifully with groups because there's a lot of energy together, obviously, and we all feed off each other's energy. So it allows people that may or may not have been able to have an experience on their own to really amp up their vibration and get an experience. So I'm excited about that.
Great. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your book?
So my book is called To the Beach, Cut Ties and Run. It came out last August, and I self-published it, and it's basically the story of my life, but I wrote it in a fictional version just so I could change the names to protect the guilty because there's a lot of crazy young people stuff going on in the book. But I really wrote it to tell my story of how I got here to Palm Beach County. In 1995, 30 years ago, I moved here to Hurricane Erin. And it's pretty ironic that Hurricane Erin is back 30 years after I moved here. So I thought that was a fun synchronicity. Hopefully, it doesn't do any damage. Um, but I had my roommate stole my car. He wrecked it. He almost killed somebody in the accident. It happened while I was asleep. I didn't know. There was drama with the attorneys trying to accuse me of something, but I was asleep. I then was given a business by a man and ended up being investigated by the FBI because it was a questionable business. And I'm this young, naive girl from Ohio. I had no clue what was going on. I just tried to be honest, and fortunately, it saved my skin. And then I dated a jewel thief. And these are all things that really happened to me. They were all here in Palm Beach County. And I tell the rest of my story, how I grew and, I worked for different local organizations and things like that. You'll find a lot of mention of local bars and restaurants, things in this area because it was like the Singer Island, Jupiter area where I was. So it's a nice little nostalgic flashback for those of us that were here. But it just talks about my story and how all these things happened, but I was always protected and I was just too clueless to understand it. And then as time went by, I was able to see how the protection had come to be, and I began to learn my intuition and listen to my intuition. And the final act of the book is when I was leaving the Keys and how I had my intuition literally rattling my body and screaming at me to do something. And I finally did it, and then it all came calm, and then everything fell into place for me and allowed me to move forward. So the second book will be out hopefully next year. It's called Back to the Beach. But it basically just describes my journey of my addiction, my domestic violence recovery, and things I had gone through and how I came out okay. And I want it to be an inspiration to other people to see that they can be okay as well.
I'm sure it will be fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
Absolutely.
if people would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
My websites are, I have my one is my name. It's KELIECICHOSKI.com. And the other one is Transform and Rise, RISE.com. And everything is on there as far as information, booking sessions, learning about me, seeing the book, ordering the book.
So, of course, there'll be a ticker going on underneath the show, and I will have that information for people to contact you. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being a part of the expo. Thanks for doing this podcast. And I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
You bet. Bye bye, everybody. And thanks for being with us. And